Netero, you've been watching too much of that JoJo, bro. That is it just me, or did it feel like Netero had a stand in this episode with that statue and he just went in? The fight was just beautifully done. The animation is like, if every shonen anime, ongoing anime had this type of animation, we would be in shonen heaven, because this is just absolutely phenomenal. Like, he's getting pushed back, thrown around, beaten down, and everything looks fluid. The art, not only the animation, but the art, I gotta talk about just how beautiful it looks. They just put so much into the colors to make the colors just like pop and everything, and it's just like, oh my god, that fucking toss between both of them, and just the king is getting knocked around everywhere by Netero, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, fuck yeah, that fight was phenomenal in this episode. And it's like, regardless of, even though the chips are stacked against him, I really like that Netero is giving it his all. He's not backing down, he's not giving up, he's not saying, you know, even though it seemingly is that the king, you know, is a lot stronger than him, he's not quitting. He's not saying, you know, well, I can't do anything. He's giving it his all, and I love that. But also, at the same time, it still makes me wonder, like, could his actions with, you know, forcing the king's hand push the king further? If he can't defeat the king, let's just say, is that pushing him any further into the side of being an ant, a killer, a monster, than being human? Like, let's just say, for all intents and purposes, the king defeats everyone and becomes the ruler of the world. Of course, that's highly unlikely. I doubt that'll ever fucking happen. You know, the world will be ruled by ants and Hunter x Hunter ends. But would that be him doing something negative? It makes me, you know, stop and think that. He's pushing his hand and making him think, you know, fuck these humans. Is this how they act? And I don't want no parts of them. I'll just be a killing monster. So food for thought there. Now, poof, that sly motherfucker. And once again, in this episode, you can see his distaste for Komugi. And the reason why he left is like, I don't care for that little girl. If he kills her, good. That just leaves the king open for me. Like, poof, you're a creep. I'm sorry, bro. Like, you're straight up a creep. The fact that he didn't even care and he just ended up calling his bluff and just dipped out when he was right there, I was just like, yeah, you could totally see where his allegiances lie, and it lies within him and his love or caring or admiration, I don't know what you want to call it, for the king, because he just jumped out the way. And if he really cared for the king like he says he does, then he would be there as well, trying to protect Komugi with all, because he sees that the king, you know, she's dear to the king. The king really cares for her, so he would actually try. But that ultimately shows his character and who he is. He's selfish. It's all about him. It's all about Poof. He don't even care about the other two royal guards. If Yuppie and Neferpito got into like a big heap of trouble and it had to cost him something, he wouldn't do it. You can see he's a selfish asshole. And between the other two characters, Pito has evolved immensely. In this episode, you see, like, if you compare the first appearance we've seen of Pito, not the first, but like one of the first appearances, like, you know, let's just say the whole kite situation and how of a monster she was, no feelings, no nothing. It was just like, oh my fucking god, to what she is now. You see huge development, and this episode just displayed even more of that development. And likewise with Yuppie, while we didn't get any Yuppie besides flashbacks in this episode, you see both of them change. Poof, he hasn't changed. If anything, he got, maybe if he did change, it's just that he got even worse, or the fact that his character is now being shown and being displayed on the spotlight. He's a selfish piece of shit. The knuckle scene felt a little bit sudden in the beginning of the episode, like right after the opening, you know, he just pops in and it's like, wait, where did you come from? I wish there was a little bit of showing him like walking into there first, because it just kind of felt a little too sudden. I felt for a moment like, did I miss a piece of the episode or something? And man, the characterization of what Gon has become, the development of what he is right now, it makes me question if they make it out of there alive. If Gon makes it out of this whole situation, which he's still in a deadly situation, don't get it twisted, just because he's upset and crazy right now, that doesn't mean that he's in the clear to, you know, live after this. He could potentially, Neferpito could behead him like she did Kite. I'm just saying. It makes you wonder, is he going to go back to being that same kid, that same happy-go-lucky kid from the beginning of Hunter x Hunter? Will there even be a possibility of him going back, or will this event unlock something deep within him that'll make him be like, I can't go back to that, make him think differently? It kind of reminds me a little bit of Yoshihiro Togashi's previous work in Yu Yu Hakusho, when Yusuke kind of, everything that he kept going through, it was kind of like, I can't go back to normal, like, this isn't just me anymore. Could this be something that'll trigger Gon to be like, I can't be that same happy-go-lucky kid that I used to be, and that'll ultimately add a separation even further between Gon and Killua and their friendship? Because, I mean, the kid is fucking disturbed at this point. Like, you see him in this episode, it looks like badass as hell, but also that also splits who he was and who he is now. And it just makes you think the development is there, but it's in a really dark, molding place at the moment. I mean, even Knuckle was being very careful with what he tells him when he's there. He's pretty much like, yeah, I probably shouldn't say anything about the whole Yuppie situation. So you can see that this guy is just completely different at the moment. And can you go back from this? Can you ultimately let all this go and be happy-go-lucky again? I just don't see it. A lot of this, I feel as though, added to his maturity in a very dark light. And overall, this episode did two different things. It had a lot of characterization for Gon and where he's at right now, as well as Poof, seeing what type of piece of shit he is. Neferpito, that she is just a lot different. Like, as far as when it comes to the king, she's changed so much because of what she's gone through for the king. So you can see the change in her, the character development in her. And then also you had that phenomenal battle between Netero and the king with the animation exquisite. So it gave you a very incredible combination. We did get a little bit of advancement as far as like 10 minutes have been slashed off now because of what Poof did. And that also kind of shows that even though Gon is erratic right now, he still has a slither of like common sense as to, okay, you know what? I'm going to play it right now by ear and I'm going to play it smart and I'm going to be strategic about it. So definitely a very keen thing to follow regarding what Gon is at right now. And overall, this was a great episode. Great combination of things, and just it feels as though the characters are just changing, and it's so much of a radical departure from what Hunter used to be to what it is now when you watch this episode. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Fucking crazy shit. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.